demographics? Is it men or women? And do you have different strategies, or rather do you need different strategies to attract them and convert them as consumers?
I know the answer, but I don't know what to do with this. Okay.
Here, so that's what I've done. So now it's your turn. Now you have to find the loose while you answer, the loose piece while you answer.
Right. So, well, the way we've seen different categories work for different people, and generally with electronics, it's mostly men, and we've seen great response from women in the fashion category. So we feel that for different categories, we feel we have different segments, and there are different marketing strategies around it as well.
Right.
For different categories, we're targeting different ad sets which we tend to create, and that's what works.
How much traffic do you get on, for example, your own?
Right. So on an average, we're getting about anything between 25 to 30,000, and they're all mostly organic traffic. We're getting on a day-to-day basis. This is the second largest in terms of e-commerce players after the largest.
And do you see a lot of influx of marketplace websites, of startups that are focusing more on e-commerce? Because compared to, let's say, when you started off 2008, there's a lot friendlier ecosystem. The logistics are in place. The payment platforms are more open. Do you see a lot more startups focusing on the e-commerce space?
Yes, absolutely. So since we started off, I've seen that since 2008, we've seen about 10 to 15 really large organizations coming into play, and even foreign players are actually coming into play as well. So that's quite exciting to see. It brings in a lot of professionalism as well. You're competing against international players, and all of that adds up. It's great for the industry, because a lot of people actually then find out, because we're still in the phase where people are finding out about e-commerce.
Right.
We're still less than 1% of our retail market. Our retail market is still growing much faster than our e-commerce market. So that doesn't happen in a lot of countries right now. Mostly in the structured world, the retail market is on the downside, while the e-commerce market is growing. While it's the other way around over there.
Why is that?
The structured retail never happened in Pakistan. So we're actually getting in that phase where structured retail for the first time is actually picking up pace. Malls are opening up for the first time, and the middle class that's getting that disposable income is actually going out. So we're the fastest growing offline retail market in the world. So that's huge in its own way. But all of that is going to come down to e-commerce as well. Once these people, get the habit of getting into buying these brands, they will eventually, want more convenience, and that's where e-commerce comes.
But in addition to that structured, the structured retail coming up, so you might talk about malls, you talk about a growing middle class. So there are more people willing to spend or able to spend. But there's also a large population which is under the age of 30. So tech savvy, they understand. They don't like the hitch of getting stuck in traffic, going to a mall. Yeah. They don't want to do all those things. So do you think there's more, which then surprises me, that why retail continues to grow in isolation of e-commerce? If you mentioned that e-commerce is almost 1%.
So retail is more of an experience now. For the first time, people get to go out and have a nice family time in an air-conditioned mall when your house has an electricity. So it's more of an experience where people are getting used to at this stage. And I feel that down the road, this might not be the best thing to do. At that time, the convenience might kick in, and that's where they might convert to e-commerce. So because they've just entered this phase, and they've just entered within their middle class, and they've started buying these different brands, eventually the convenience thing will kick in. So that's what we're banking on. And yes, the majority of the people in Pakistan are below the age of 30, so that's another big side for the e-commerce.
What about incentivizing? And I'm sorry, it's a big plus, but you're a big negative for your game. So just one tip before I ask my next question. Just look around, because some of these come out really. So I'm going to guide you a little bit, but your hand has to be very steady.
Yeah.
That's the thing about strategy. We've noticed that a lot of people are very pressured to kind of ignore this.
I'm a very one-directional person.
Yeah.
So I can just focus on one thing, and well, it's fine. We'll do it.
So I've done that for you. I've kind of made your life really easy. The question for you is, how do e-tailers incentivize growth in this segment? So converting from a brick and mortar, converting people's attention from instead of buying in brick and mortar, come online.
Right. So what are the main reasons why anyone would want to come online or buy something online is convenience. Yeah. So I feel that piece needs to be figured out really well. And for now, a lot of players that are in the industry are only focusing towards getting the growth worked out for themselves. So if you're just going after growth and you're not worrying about the experience side of things, you wouldn't be able to achieve your end goal. And that's what I see very different about Amazon as compared to some of the other players across the world. Their focus is a lot towards the customer and giving that experience which will enable them to come back to your website and keep ordering again. So I think that piece is still missing in Pakistan, and that needs to be worked out. If that piece is figured out well, then the true potential of e-commerce could actually.
What about, so for example, one of the first questions in the rapid fire was what sells, and you talked about electronics. So in the lifespan of a consumer, I may buy a laptop once every 5 years. But you don't need to be there every 5 years. You need it almost every day or every month.
Right.
So in terms of recurring sales, we've seen a lot of growth in, for example, grocery or everyday grocery.
Right. Absolutely. So we're right now banking on some of the other electronic ranges which you could probably buy other than your laptop. You might need a phone as well, maybe twice a year, maybe two as well, and then the general appliances which are really huge. Like you've seen a huge growth within that segment. People buying all different kinds of home appliances for their kitchen and home. It's just that previously they didn't have the exposure to all these products. They didn't know what existed in the southern market, and they would probably go to the shops close by where they're not exposed to a lot of range of products. Through e-commerce, they're able to see a lot more products which they couldn't before, and this way they end up buying a lot more. We've seen people buy a lot of the things for their kitchen before Eid comes in. So we've seen those trends happening, and we feel that once you have convenience coupled with a broad range of products, it eventually ends up making customers place more orders than they would generally do. We feel that not just this, then you have televisions, and then you have the home theater side of things, and then coupled up with a lot more electronic based categories, and then moving a little out and beyond into fashion and watches, we can potentially see a customer placing an order once a month. And that's what we're ideally targeting right now. If we can make these customers convert once a month, that's what we feel we can manage right now. We don't even want the customer to be placing orders every day, because it's you need to have a very sustainable, consistent experience. You can do 50 successful transactions, and one goes wrong, you might be losing the customer. So we want to be ready to that time when we could take up groceries, because grocery seems to be quite a challenging segment in itself, and we would definitely want to venture into it, but there would be a right time.
Sure. So now the time is right for you to take your time out. What about so things like, for example, if I buy an air conditioner online, right. And I place the order, and I have that 7-day return guarantee, whatever. Yeah. Something like should be other than choose install fit with it. But so those things don't work on fashion.
So in our case, we do offer cash on delivery for something like that. Yes, for the larger products as well. So the experience is more like someone giving us a call, placing an order on the website that I want to get things installed today. If it's placed before 3, the AC gets installed, and the person gets the remote control and everything working. And he could pay after everything is done. So yes, it's more of a cash on delivery.
And so how well do you know your consumers? How data driven are your marketing campaigns? For example, if it's my birthday, which it was a couple of days ago, would I have gotten, a free gift or a promotion or something?
Right. So we make these customer groups and we segment people based on their locations, based on what company they're from, and then we tend to target market them. So we have partnerships with different banks, and banks tend to give us leads to their customers which are already on our database, and this way we segment them between different banks, and then we target them bank-based campaigns, 20% off for all ex-bank holders. So this is something that we do on a day-to-day basis.
But the importance of CRM, for example, running a
right. Yes. So we started collecting data since your time.
Unless you want to
no, it's fine.
Get me up there, it'll be your loss.
Yeah. So we started collecting data since 2008. We have over 100,000 registered people who bought something from us, and then obviously most of them have gone to more than 50% of the people have gone on to place the second and third order. So we have a sizable chunk of their buying history with us. And then more importantly, we started reviewing what they're seeing on our website and what's their journey within the website, because ideally we didn't know that customers actually visit one product 4 or 5 times before making that purchase. It's just that learning was in its own way a big thing for us, because then we started retargeting, and that really helped us to re-engage and recapture those customers. And so these are some of the things that we're looking on a day-to-day basis.
Just help me understand this. There's so much competition. So one of the ways to incentivize users to come and purchase online as opposed to brick and mortar is the convenience. Second is price. How does any company, I don't want to know specific to you, but how does any e-commerce marketplace make money? Because you have to slash your prices, and yet you have to do the entire, the last mile is also your responsibility in that delivery.
So e-commerce does have certain advantages, cost advantages over regular retail. And then,
like what?
Well, you don't have to get retail spaces. You don't need those kind of employees or the other overheads that you have for retail. So that's one to start off. Obviously, you will be managing a warehouse and all of that, but then you can have that scale which a retail outlet wouldn't have. You can have a national approach to things. You can basically have right. So once you have that kind of scale, you can obviously eventually end up giving better prices.
What do you see in terms of logistics? So how, if the last mile is also your problem, is also your headache, and I know you may charge the end user, but how reliable are all of the services that we have right now?
So they're very traditional and they haven't changed the last 10 years. And unfortunately, at a certain scale, they can't really manage business beyond that. So you know their limits and they have certain limitations.
So what it means that they are traditional and haven't changed?
Well, some of the technology that they use, you can't have tracking of any product at any given time. Like they would be more from location to location. Like there wouldn't be any tracking facility for where things are right in the middle of all of that. And that's a huge challenge. So some of the newer e-commerce based logistics companies that you see in the Middle East, like Fetcher and all, so they're more IT driven, and we haven't seen any of the companies actually been able to execute something like that, which has a more tech based focus. We're now trying to develop a logistics play as well, where we're focused towards our own problems.
I want to remind you that you could actually only use one.
Oh.
So you can't test whether the earthquake will make this problem or not. Right. So you're starting up your own kind of a last mile solution.
Yeah, last mile solution which addresses to our challenges, and so that when we eventually want to scale this, we don't have to depend on anything. Because we've worked with a lot of these holding companies for the last few years, and we know their limitations. We know exactly at what point they tend to not function efficiently.
What is an ideal ecosystem for an e-commerce marketplace? What should be in-house and what can be dubbed from this the power of the shared economy. What?
If the camera could only see it from this side.
It's like extracting a tooth.
Yeah.
What's done is done. What's the ideal kind of scenario? What should be done in-house? Because that's your core business. That's what becomes not a cost center, but a profit center.
From an industry perspective?
From an industry perspective.
So what needs to be done, where I see right now we're going wrong with things, is basically a lot of these Facebook page sellers getting away with things by showing something different as compared to what's being delivered, and them getting away with it. Reason being because courier companies aren't really verifying locations while they're signing these sellers up, and at the back of it you wouldn't even find an address at times. So that's one challenge, and then not letting consumers check their products before they pay for it. I think that's a really huge pull, because cash on delivery anywhere else in the world, people have that right to check products before they pay for it.
How do you foresee this the trend in digital wallets increasing?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that, even when somebody says that pay via credit card, I tend to mistrust the fact that my money will sit in escrow, and if I need to have it returned, I may not get my money back. So do you feel that same mistrust or lack of understanding exists with digital wallets? Also, you can't afford this entire tower, Shayan. My goodness.
So, well, I do feel that right now it's just early days for these wallets, and people generally don't really have much of an idea. But with passage of time, and for now, I don't think any of these wallets even have an inbuilt escrow working. But with passage of time, they're all trying to get there, and as that happens, I feel people generally will move to wallets.
One piece of advice: you may want to stop that one and try something else.
Yes, just try to for one finger.
One finger. So what role? How are banks supporting the online marketplace? Often we see certain sites will be sponsored by, for example, EasyPesa or WeBank or something that use their cards, use their products for a substantial discount. Do things like that actually happen?
Well, I mean, they do to an extent, because banks want these consumers trying out their services, and they agree to at times. So I can just use one finger like this.
One finger, yeah.
Right. Sorry.
So, banks.
It just got more difficult after.
That's perfectly fine.
Right. Well, yes. The quality of our answers would be much better.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So banks are trying their bit now. They're getting much smarter. Before they couldn't get connected to different platforms and then make payments. It was all through IDFT, or one link was managing most of it. But now banks are getting smarter. They're getting the APIs. They want to connect with different platforms, make payments more streamlined, and I think that would really help the overall industry, because as payments get convenient for people, because a lot of people still do in Pakistan make these online payments through IDFT and all, but it's a painful experience, adding people into a beneficiary list and then making payments. So I think once this piece is streamlined and resolved, I think it's going to pick up big time.
But the business case for the overall sector. So if, for example, just e-commerce makes up for 1% of the retail, do you think that's a strong enough business case for banks to say, okay, now let's open certain APIs so that this transaction process becomes...
So e-commerce is just one piece without will be using those APIs. So there's a huge other segment where P2P payments might happen. So that's another play, and wallets will be will be a part of that. So these both segments coupled together might be a substantial size, and then them hearing a lot about fintech at all times, and them wanting to be up to date with things. They're definitely trying. So I see a lot of banks actually getting things done now.
All right. What about things? So everything right now is very domestic. Uh, Buy something and it will be shipped to you locally. What about crossing the boundaries?
Right. So we have potential partners who recently connected with out of China, and they run their marketplaces out of China, and they would potentially want to connect with us through APIs and make about 2 million products live for people in Pakistan. So these are some of the partnerships that we're exploring. We don't want to just because they have a lot of products that would come in, so we potentially don't want them to in some way hijack our product range. So we're making a separate section for Chinese products, and same goes for some of the Western stores. So we have been pretty big on the cross-border e-commerce side of things from the word go. Like in fact, the first few products that we actually got were out of Pakistan, and we eventually tried to sell them here. So we see a lot of potential, and that's where home shopping is heading. We potentially want to give people access to the products that are not generally available here in Pakistan. We have a huge segment of products that we generally do from local sellers, but then we have sellers working with us from some outside of Pakistan who have offices here in Pakistan as well, and then we're able to focus on those brands.
Right. And so, where do you see the future of e-retail?
So the
let's refine the parameter. Where do you see the future of e-retail in the next 1 year?
Right, 1 year. Right. So for the next 1 year, I see this size doubling up. I see more investment coming in through some of the larger organizations that have come in recently, and I see a lot more organizations trying to come in as well. So Alibaba is the starting of the whole thing. I see that you have potential entrants from the West and even from China as well. So that should happen, and that should be very interesting in the next 1 year or so.
Okay. And what kind of a future do you see in the startup community? So the youngsters who are trying to get into the space also. Is there future and hope for them? How long does it take? So Daraz has been obviously rocket internet powered, therefore they were at that substantial size. Therefore, over the course of many rumored acquisitions and mergers, finally Alibaba has taken over. But what is the future in the next 1 year with all this shared economy, hype of IT, startup space, ecosystems growing? Is there?
So I see a lot of potential within the e-commerce segment, but I don't see a lot of startups or individuals coming into the space of becoming sellers, not realizing that what kind of potential is there for waiting. There are different marketplaces who want sellers which would fuel this. And eventually, the only one, the way I say it, the one who's really making the money is the seller. So we need these, and we've had examples like we've had people come in wanting to be sellers because they couldn't find themselves a job, and that was probably the only thing they could have done at that stage. But then they started off their business, started off with themselves, and then ended up having like about 20-25 employees working for them, and they made a good trading business for themselves. They were buying stuff and selling on the platform, and not just on our platform. They were selling on Facebook. They were using a few other mediums to get in the orders, and they were pulling up orders and doing great for themselves. So I see a lot of potential there. I see that a lot of, if you see in the startup community, you would see a lot of ideas coming into space, and everyone trying to raise funding and doing incubation, and then trying to make the next Amazon for themselves. I feel that for me, because I'm much closer to the e-commerce segment, I feel there's a lot of potential for some of these startups to maybe get aligned with some of these larger marketplaces and be sellers and have a trading business that they could start off. It gives them the same benefits of working out of their home, being their own boss, and just the way they like it. And because it gives them a sale channel which is just there for them at all times, and they can immediately sell things and get into the habit of trading. And they could learn a lot out of this. I mean, they could probably get into some other business down the line, but the whole experience of buying things and selling things and doing a P&L for yourself, it teaches you a lot.
Right. So it does teach you a lot. Thank you very much. And yeah, this is Rabia, Garib, and Shayan Tahir, and the New Spaces team. Love you.